Imagine this. You're standing at the starting line of a 100-yard dash, and as you put your toe to the line, you look to the right and you see your competition. And you size them up by looking them up and down, and you wonder, I wonder what they've got that I don't have. Or, I wonder what I've got, what they don't have. That's what we're talking about today. Sales optimization and competitive intelligence.
So I think it's incumbent upon us to educate our prospects, educate each other on the fact that travel is an investment. It's not an expense, and people need to get that mind shift around that. You're investing in your most precious commodity or resource, and that's your employees.
I'm Chika Eloy, and this is a conversation designed for BCD people with BCD people. On this show, we're running through the diverse cultures of talent at BCD Travel, and we're showcasing our most confident self-colleagues. So come on, let's go have some fun as we explore the different functions, spaces, faces, and the complexities across our world of BCD.
Today we have a sensational guest, Ms. Jan Parsons. Welcome to the show, Jan.
Why, thank you, Chika. I appreciate the invitation to participate.
I'm so looking forward to speaking to you today. I've trolled you, I've ghosted you out on the chatter universe. I see your name always popping up everywhere. So let me pass you the keyboard, let me pass you the conch, the microphone, the megaphone. Who are you? What do you do, Jan, at BCD?
I am Jan Parsons, a manager of sales optimization. In that role, I support the global sales team, what we refer to as our large market team, in the pursuit of new prospects. And what I do differs by the day, the minute, the hour. It's really a fun ride, and every day is different. As you said, you see my name in a lot of different sectors. I also have a hand in the competitive intelligence for the company. I'm insatiably curious, so that suits me personally in a sector that I thoroughly enjoy. And we have a big role in securing references for prospects and really a lot of preparation and helping the team win new business.
So there's a lot of information there, Jan, and if we could back up and maybe dig in for a second. The first piece you labeled yourself, you said sales optimization, and then you said competitive intelligence.
Yeah, they're all part of one big bucket and very, very intertwined up and down the gamut. Anything that touches sales touches us, and we do our best to live up to the optimization part of our titles and supply the sales team with more than what they ask for.
Nice. So when you say that you're looking for prospective clients, Jan, how does BCD do that as a company? We're not cold calling random clients, or are we? I've never quite understood when we want to find somebody and somebody wants to find us, how does that work? Maybe you can start there and explain that process for us.
Well, certainly in terms of the global sales as well as the Americas sales team, those relationships are for the most part already in place and nurtured over many years' time. We have very few that are the result of a cold call. We do occasionally get a web-based lead where they submit on our website, but in general it's through just the relationships they've built over the years, participating in GBTA and like conferences. ProcureCon's a big one that has come on strong in the last couple of years, and just really cross-referencing, utilizing, feeding each other information. I think the sales organization is really, really well connected. They have positions within these various organizations, so they're constantly advertising, if you will, the BCD Travel name and brand.
That's really clear. And Jan, when it comes to this competitive intelligence, before we jump in there actually, maybe you can share with us in the last week or last month, what has been like one of the best projects you've done, maybe not without naming names, but just in regards to this big bucket you're speaking to? Like, give us a sense of getting down and dirty with what Jan's doing day to day that excites her.
Actually, I think the most exciting part is when you can unearth something extremely valuable in the research sector. When you come upon, let's say, a client list of a prospect or who they supply to, and there are like clients in there. That's really a great leverage point for us. And anytime you can uncover a tidbit like that, it's very, very useful for the salesperson. I also think that there are a lot of initiatives around sustainability, and it's such a great core strength of ours that I always research a prospect's sustainability site and what they're doing and how we can align our goals to theirs, and ensuring that whatever their strategies are as an overall company, as well as in terms of what they hope to accomplish with the TMC tender, that we are addressing those and we know them up front and they're clearly articulated.
And to all of our listeners, that their ears perked up like mine did when, Jan, you just mentioned sustainability. I know episode 10, we talked to Sharon Dirks about that at length. So feel free to backtrack into an episode. Way to shout out, Jan, and co-twine your conversation with sustainability there. Jan, now
they're a very admirable group. I have great admiration for the work they're doing.
So, Jan, competitive intelligence, I've mentioned it a couple of times now. This is what really drew me towards you. Maybe you can sum up for us, what does that mean for you and your role, and what does it mean to our company?
Well, for me, I'm just insatiably curious. I always have been, and I'm relatively certain I always will be. So gathering competitive intelligence not only feeds my curiosity, but it also makes me better at my job. You can't win if you don't know what you're up against. So it's an arena that I think demonstrates how one person can make a difference. When I started at BCD, I believe it was 8 glorious years ago, I frequently found the intelligence lacking. So I did something about it.
Right.
No one asked me to, and I didn't really even ask. I just simply started posting what I felt was relevant information and sharing the good word. And as I learned about the competition, I also learned about who within BCD it would most touch and who in BCD could in turn give our side of the story, if you will. So it's been a really, really great connector point just for the organization, but also for me personally.
And so if I'm a person that's never understood it or never seen it before, when you say you're posting information, is that industry knowledge? Is that knowledge specific to BCD roles? Like what type of info are you putting out there that makes it so competitive?
Anything that pertains to our competition, mainly, the big heavy hitters, the Amexes, HRGs, FCM of the world, but really it pertains to acquisitions they're making, personnel that may be coming or going, tools and products they're offering, and even some of the awards that they tout and giving the insight that they're kind of a pay-to-play award. So it's an honor, yes, but they paid to get in on the honor. So I think that's worth knowing and helps you combat it when you're up against them in presentations.
Jan, I can only imagine when a salesperson is about to step in front of a prospect or even a client to get their business back, they're going to need a lot of information and kind of would love to download, I guess, some of the intelligence that you have. Do you spend any time in that dance, feeding the information that you have elsewhere to make our teams more successful?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really, really collaborative and dynamic partnership. We work in tandem throughout the process and slowly but surely build the record up so everything's reflected in Salesforce and people can find it really literally at the touch of a button. We have something that's called a presentation prep briefing that has a Conga report behind it that in less than 2 minutes you can have an overview of the opportunity, the volumes, the scopes, the countries involved, and it goes much, much further than that, Chica. We do various components that are fed into this briefing. So you have a business snapshot, which kind of gives the current affairs of the company itself, not their travel program. We have stakeholder analysis where we really analyze every person that's going to be in that presentation. What's their role going to be? How much power do they have in the decision-making process? And what's their preference towards us? And if it's powerful and they don't prefer us, how do we sway that? It was a really key component that we instilled in terms of having quality metrics around our opportunities, so we didn't have all our eggs in a travel manager's basket that loved us but didn't have any power. So that's been a real advancement we've made, and the salespeople have what they compile known as an opportunity plan, and that really, really gets into the deep dive of the decision-making process and political or strategic issues, what our value propositions are, what we expect the competition to do, what our messaging is going to be. So I kid you not, you click a button and it all just populates into a Word document, and then that's all posted in the record. So senior leadership can quickly review and be up to speed on an account that we may have been working on for a year or as many as 2 years.
Crazy. There's so much that goes into that, Jan.
And that's the fun part. That's the exciting part.
So
when I'm the dog with the bone and just dig to unearth those gems that are a little bit harder to find.
And how do you know, as the digger, how do you know when you've struck gold?
When you see something that you know that isn't known, when you find, like I said, shared clients, or where you find some place where you just really align, and the sales leader is focusing on so much, the deck, not the least of which, and they might not have seen that, and they strictly, don't have time either to go into that kind of weeds.
Right.
So whenever we're preparing the business snapshot, it's really taking a deep dive look at the company, its health, its financial metrics, what their pains and challenges are, what their future strategy is. The more we know, the better chance we have of winning.
I guess a really good question I could ask you is, what do you see BCD needs to do to stay relevant in the coming years? I mean, you can look left, look right, and probably see a lot further than I can, because that's what you do for a living. What do you think the answer is to that question?
Well, I think that we are. I think that we are addressing them through the mobile strategies that we're employing, through our technology roadmaps, through the great work the research and intelligence team is doing. I think, of course, AI is going to impact our universe however it may be, and we're prepared and adopting partners and strategies that will take us to the next level. I think that we have leaderships and just reams and teams of people that are charting our course. I think most of it will center around artificial intelligence and what the effects of blockchain are, NDC, and we are really, really blessed to have experts in all those sectors. So again, I think that's kind of the beauty of it, is to know who to pull in, or to know who to mention and say, hey, this is what HRG is saying, and this is what Amex is saying. What do we say about it? And it's really, really fun to see how, whether it's solutions consulting, whether it's another sales colleague, whether it's an account manager, who weighs in and has that kind of intelligence to build.
Wonderful, Jan. So, Jan, we often ask people to help us explain the corporate travel industry because it can be very complex. But based on that last question I asked you about the future of BCD, and you say that we're well positioned, do you see challenges for the industry in the upcoming years?
Oh, certainly. I mean, it's really ever evolving, and really, I think one of the most fast-changing industries there are. When I tell people I work at TMC, they automatically, I assume I'm a travel agent, and while we do indeed have, yeah,
you too.
We have many fine agents. It's far more complex than that. And when I cite the fact that our largest client does more than $500 million annually just in air, they start to get the picture. And believe it or not, hopefully the marketeers will love this, but I also recite our tagline, travel smart, achieve more. They're four succinct words that best describe what we do. By enabling clients to travel smart, they will achieve more, and not the least of which is a return on shareholder value. So I think it's incumbent upon us to educate our prospects, educate each other on the fact that travel is an investment. It's not an expense, and people need to get that mind shift around that. You're investing in your most precious commodity or resource, and that's your employees. and it's an investment that ensures future viability.
And Jan, where do you sit? Do you live in the US? I'm guessing you do.
I am from the fabulous state of Minnesota,
Ooh.
which everybody will think of as cold, but it's actually very beautiful and has 4 lovely seasons, and we're currently enjoying an extremely colorful fall.
Jan, it is time to move into our speed round. 5 questions coming at you. You would do your best to give me 5 rapid answers. Are you ready?
I hope to be.
All right, let's make this some fun. Do you prefer roller coasters or rocking chairs?
Oh, roller coasters.
Do you prefer ketchup or mayo with your French fries?
Neither. Ranch dressing.
Good for you. Good for you. That must be a Minnesota thing.
I don't know. I've turned a lot of people onto it. It's fabulous.
We'd call it a Parsons thing then. All right, question number 3. When I say Mariah Carey, you say...
Temperamental brat.
Wow, and it's coming into the Christmas season too. Good for you, Jan. Question number 4. Are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable?
Fruit.
Very good. And just like we sum up every podcast, I would love to ask you question number 5. What is your favorite piece, part, love about working at BCD?
Every day is different. Every day has a toy surprise, and they may not always be good toy surprises, but it's the beauty of it. I could have my day as well planned as possible, and something will come in that I didn't even have on my radar. So how do I prioritize? How do I juggle? What do I move? Who do I pull in to help me with it? It's just every single day is different, and it makes every day interesting.
Jan Parsons, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for giving us your time, Jan. And if we wish to reach out to you, and if we're not at mentioning you somewhere, I'm sure that we can dig you up in the database. And I'll also include all of your notes in the show notes right below. Thank you again, Jan.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.